Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, Traders Pro. Market conditions, bullish in a bull market, continuing that overall theme. Looking at the upper ranges now inside the momentum indicator, looking, starting to get up into that extreme range, which means that the upside of this rally is now going to be a little bit muted. We can certainly get up to the upper edges and the extreme range, which is what we're going to want to see. We're going to want to see some continuation higher, but it's up in that range where it could pull back just a little bit, ideally get back into that buy zone and continue this overall uptrend. This indicator will typically, ideally in an uptrend in a bull market, it's going to stick somewhere inside of this range. It's just going to move back and forth. It's going to go up to this extreme area. It's going to pull back into this buy range. But ideally, it's pulling back and moving higher and pulling back and moving higher so we don't ever get a full reversal back down into these ranges here. So it's okay. It's okay if this indicator is sliding back and forth here. In fact, that's what we want to see. We want to see it to go from buy up to extreme, pull back into the buy, look for more opportunities, let it move back up to the extreme. So that's where that is sitting at currently. Also, breadth indicator solidly bullish right here and in the upper end of that range. That just means there's a lot of participation. Sentiment is also high. So market conditions are still bullish. And the buy-sell ratio, we're not as extreme as we could be. We're in the upper end of this range. You can also draw a line right through the middle of this and say, what should my bias be? Well, my bias obviously is green is above red, so we're going to be bullish, just like we would have been here. Red is above green, we're going to be bearish. Okay, so in this case, it's a quick glance to be able to see what the overall bias and my overall trend direction should be focused on, especially when it's in this upper range. Now we have a buy-sell ratio that is solidly bullish, 2.8 to 1. That means for every 2.8 stocks that are buys, there's one sell. So it's weighted heavily towards the upside in the database, which is, again, that's a bullish market sentiment that we want to be able to focus on that top-down approach. When we're going into the day and we're looking, what should my bias be? What's the overall direction of the market? Which direction is it moving? Is it at the upper end of that range or is it at the beginning of that range? We can do just a quick glance on utilizing these indicators to help us look for that. We've got the S&P 83 on this sentiment indicator. So we are at the upper end of all three, most of these indicators. So we'll see what S&P can do. SPY, if we take a look at that here, kind of a quieter day yesterday. Not a big gain, but we could certainly see a pullback. Any kind of pullback now, we'd want to see this becoming a support area, a table, a floor, so to speak, so that we've got some support for new upside. So we'll see how the next day or two continue to look. We've got some really good-looking stocks here in the new buy list. IMVT, a little bit high. Again, you can notice it jumps right up to that extreme. We've also seen, though, in the last few days, some of these stocks that have these big moves, they're getting follow-through. So keep an eye on some of these. There are some other really good-looking stocks that have breakout patterns. This number 2 stock in the list right here, potential breakout pattern, decent-looking confirmation bar. There's actually 3 or 4 stocks that look really good today. This is one of them, CPS. This is the setup that I prefer to see, and that is when you have a solid uptrend, consolidation, counter trend, and then this confirmation bar, and it's not a big move, and it didn't take us all the way to extreme. We're still early in the buy cycle, still early in that bullish trend, starting to work this direction. Okay, so that's a setup that is a really nice setup. The reason why I like that bar is because it's about that 7%. I prefer to have an initial stop loss around that 6-7% range versus 10 or 12% if you get a big huge run up. So it gives you a good technical location to set up your risk profile where you're going to place your stop loss, and then you can go in and look at the number of shares to be able to work with that risk profile. That's one of them. There's a couple others here. IMGN is not one of them, but that's a solid stock that's been moving higher consistently. This is another one that looked compelling. BLBD, still in that auto transport trucking world, similar to Cooper that we just looked at, CPB. Confirmation bar, 4.5%, coming out of a counter trend move. Interesting stock to look at. EVLV, nice breakout. and good solid confirmation bar, a little bit rich. Again, here's that example here, 12%, extreme, solid move, but those can often get some acceleration to the upside. Keep an eye on those. First Solar is starting to pop. I've seen several of those moving today. First Solar is an interesting one because it's at the upper end of its range with a good solid confirmation bar, about 8%. That's not too bad for a confirmation breakout for a stop loss at the low. Interesting trade potential for First Solar. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.